Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and today I want to show you this. This is the BullyEyes phone lens attachment for your smartphone and or tablet. And essentially what this is are two different lenses that you can clip onto your phone and over your phone's camera to give you a couple of different effects from your photos and your videos. Now you can pick this up on Amazon. At the time of this recording, it's going to cost you around $25 or so. But let me show you everything that comes in the box when you pick this up. First of all, you are going to get this. This is the entire construction. This is the lens. Actually, there are two different lenses. We take off the lens cap here, and the first one that you get is this wide angle lens. Now, the wide angle lens is going to allow you to fit a lot more of your subject into the frame. So if you've ever been in a situation where you're trying to take a picture, but you can't quite get everything in the shot, so you have to keep moving backwards and moving backwards in order to get it, when you put this over your phone's camera lens, it's basically going to widen the entire shot for you. And there's a second lens under here too. So all we have to do is unscrew this. Now the second lens that you get is this BullyEyes macro lens. And what this allows you to do is get a lot closer to your subject and still be able to maintain focus. So normally with your smartphone camera, let's just say you can get about this close before you go out of focus. But with the macro lens, you'll be able to get about that close before you lose focus. So it's good for being able to capture a lot of additional detail and whatever subject that you might be trying to photograph. That's the main thing that you get in here. And you're also going to get this microfiber cloth, just to keep your lens nice and clean. And you get a little carrying pouch to carry your lens, and of course some paperwork, instructions, things like that. You can read that if you want, and it'll teach you a little bit more about wide angle lenses and all that other good stuff. So how does all this work? Well, fortunately, it's pretty easy. So the macro lens sits on this clip, and you can use the macro lens all by itself. But when you want to use the wide angle lens, you have to screw it on top of the macro lens. So basically, you can use the macro lens by itself, but you can't use the wide angle lens by itself. So to combine the two, all you have to do is screw the wide angle lens onto the macro lens, get that nice and tight there, and grab your phone and just push this clip open and slide it right over your smartphone's camera. And you can look on this side in order to look through the glass and see exactly where it's going to be. So just center that up as best you can, let it go, it clips down, and now you can have a pretty cool wide angle lens effect that looks kind of like this. Here's a look at the wide angle lens in action. Now from a distance, everything appears to be normal, but as I step closer to the car, notice how its shape begins to bend and distort. And that's the effect that you get with the wide angle lens. Not only can it fit more of the subject into your frame, it also distorts the appearance of anything that gets too close to it. A better example of that will be looking at the front of the car, where it looks like the grille is stretched out across almost the entire frame. But again, that's a very good thing, especially if you're trying to get a portrait shot with a lot of people and you can't move away too far. And check out the amount of extra space you get with the lens on compared to when the lens is off. It really is a very big difference, and you'll be able to take some great landscape and architecture photos with that too. Now the macro lens, from a distance, everything looks like a weird dream. So you have to get very, very close to your subject in order to achieve focus. But you also have to be very careful because your depth of field becomes extremely thin at this point. So in order to get a really sharp picture, you should either use a tripod or have very, very steady hands. But considering if you have enough light and you still take a photo at a very close distance, you might get something that looks a little like this. So now we're looking at the front-facing camera with the BullyEyes lens attached to it. And as you can see my entire recording space right here. Now normally this is something that you will never be able to see. Even if I were to take the camera and push it all the way back against the wall, you will never get this kind of wide field of view. Let's take a look to see what this looks like when the lens is not attached. So I've taken the lens off of the camera. You can still see mostly everything around me, but it's not nearly as wide as it used to be. But I'm going to pop this back on for the duration of the video, and we're going to talk a little bit about vignetting. Now, if you use this lens, depending on what kind of device you're using it on, you might have to deal with vignetting. And that's basically the darkening of the corners all around the frame. Now, it varies from phone to phone. It's very hard for an attachment like this to get everything perfect on every phone because of the way that the cameras are shaped and the positioning and different settings and all that stuff. But if you do encounter vignetting, and chances are you will on the Galaxy S7 Edge, the way to fix that is to simply crop it out in post. In fact, I'm going to put up a little chart right here that shows some of the more popular devices that this lens has been tested on and whether or not there is an issue or not with vignetting. But in my testing of this, I have not really had to deal with too much vignetting, especially in videos, because the Galaxy S7 Edge, it crops in to the image every time you go to record a video. And if you're recording it at higher resolutions like UHD, if you're recording in 4K, that crop becomes that much tighter. So you still maintain a wider field of view than you would without the lens, but you don't have to deal with cropping out the vignetting in post. But if you're just taking pictures, that's something that you may have to deal with, especially with the front-facing camera. I've seen that it's more prevalent with the front-facing camera than it is with the rear camera. But if you don't mind just zooming in just a little bit and cropping that out afterwards, if it bothers you that much, then you shouldn't have a problem with it. Now, when it comes to the actual picture quality and the video quality when you're using this lens, naturally when you put glass in front of glass, there's going to be a slight degradation when it comes to the resolution that you get. However, it's really not all that noticeable, especially if you're outside where there's ample light or if the quality of light is very good, then you're not really going to see much of a loss in video quality or photo quality. So now the lens is attached to the rear camera on my phone, and as I wrap it up, I just have to say, if you're looking for a way to get a much wider field of view on your smartphone than you normally have, then this BullyEyes lens is a nice, affordable way to make that happen. It can be very good when you're going out and you're trying to get pictures of tall buildings and landscapes, or if you're trying to get better selfies, or if you just want to have a very unique perspective, something that you normally can't get on your default camera lens is a pretty cool way to go. That and the macro lens that this also comes with will help you get some more detailed up-close shots, something that you would not be able to get with your default camera lens once again. And for that, I think that it does its job. It does its job well. It holds up pretty good, like the fact they give you lens caps and a carrying case so that you can carry it around with you, and it's pretty much universal. If you have a camera on your phone, this can just clip right on and you can see what kind of results that you get. And the results that I've seen from this so far, I think that it does a pretty good job. So there you go. Wide angle lenses, this is one of your options for your phone. So thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.